The look of abject terror on your face is perfect.
Yes.
I was staring at the ceiling in abject horror.
I was led to believe that I would be given leave.
You know, you've been given leave for a reason. So I think you should take that time and get some rest.
I was often given leave of his library, which holds many a closely guarded tome, to educate myself.
If I'm not given leave to appeal, slash away.
Your betrothed gives you leave.
I do beseech you, give him leave to go.
Give me leave to bring him back to justice.
Give you leave to depart.
Give me leave to go.
Or give me leave to go.
Give me public leave to speak of him.
Perhaps you will give me leave to defer your rapture.
And I always think when I make any public pronouncement about anything, however small, connected to this university, that we literally would not be here. I don't know about we, but whoever exists in the world would not be here were it not for these deeply convinced Calvinists who produced educational institutions that had the capacity to evolve and change into world-leading academic institutions.
But it was a public pronouncement. The Greek actually is not quite that specific. It could have happened back in Zacchaeus' house, but it was a public pronouncement. And by the way, the way houses were built was they had windows but no panes. So if you had a dinner party, you could have 50 people outside looking into the wind through the windows. So
to instantly divide. Now, unfortunately, we also have a situation where it is possible for one person via a public pronouncement to instantly divide us between those who are going to agree with them or disagree with them.
And so we know that after Elijah's public pronouncement, God said to his prophet, go hide yourself.
Recorded this was his public pronouncement.
Because the first really public pronouncement and sort of commitment to this actually came in 2002 by the owners of the teams in the National Football League. The Rooney Rule is named after Dan Rooney, who at the time was the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Do this. They paint themselves into a corner in terms of their public pronouncements.
Attorney General Barr made his public pronouncements after this conversation that I had with Kevin Kramer. Attorney General Barr made his public pronouncements.
Treating MacArthur as if he had almost staged a kind of coup against the government by his refusal and by his public pronouncements about the Truman policy.
They did. And if anything, I suppose it had as much to do with his public pronouncements, with the game that he talked, and with the way he treated African Americans.
We took a lot of solace in the public pronouncements of Prime Minister Abadi and other Sunni leaders who showed support for this operation.
Perry was very focused on coal, and if anything, you might say that the most important object of his mission was coal, despite some of the public pronouncements.
And when it comes to public pronouncements of faith, Ted Cruz is like George W. Bush on steroids.
That despite whatever public pronouncements an American president might make about vows,
public pronouncements, historians have in contrast to his public pronouncements, historians have discovered he consistently condemned revolutions internationally as premature from the concern that it would instigate a conflict with the Western powers, but also from the assumption that revolutionaries in places like Yugoslavia, China, and Vietnam were unprepared to establish communist regimes.
Warhol's own celebrity was defined by his pithy style of public pronouncements, often reduced to a mere yes, no, or
We're tightly restricted to knowing them through their public pronouncements, to what they can or choose to reveal.
Many analysts conclude that Comey's public pronouncements about the investigation cost Clinton the election.
The leader of the opposition has occluded the same despondent of misleading the electorate in his public pronouncements.
The Anti-Valentine's Day Club getting together to air their grievances.
People air their grievances. Apologies are made. Second chances are given, but not to monsters.
And airing their grievances.
This is a forum for all of us to air our grievances so we can resolve them and go on with our lives.
While we're airing grievances, what about your stupid craft area?
No, I cannot calm down. I've tried to be reasonable.
And air their grievances about their mother.
If you air any and all grievances.
And if we are all airing our grievances.
Tradition of Festivus begins with the airing of grievances.
Come in and air your grievances, right? So I did.
I mean, I, for one, prefer to air my grievances.
As Barry and I were airing our grievances,
The purpose of our gang isn't to air out your petty grievances.
Vociferous? Unimpaired?
A clangorous, vociferous yes.